Real estate is full of highs and lows. As salespeople, we have to get used to that. There's going to be great phone calls we can make, and there's going to be bad phone calls we can make. There's no real estate salesperson in the world who's never had to deliver some kind of bad news. But only the good salespeople, really the great ones, know how to deliver that bad news in a positive way. And that's what I like to call Serhant's secret number 4, the good news sandwich. You never want to deliver bad news just as it is. The same way a doctor wouldn't walk into a room and say, "Hey, you're going to die," and then walk out. That's not great, right? Probably doesn't leave the patient feeling nice, warm, and fuzzy. And they don't need a really expensive doctor to tell them that either. So same thing for us. There's always common issues that we're going to have to deal with that I'm going to walk you through. And there's different ways to present that same information. And you do it by starting the conversation with positives, presenting the bad news in the middle, and ending with a positive. And you want to make sure you go into all of these conversations that you think are going to be negative, you think are going to be bad, with solutions already planned out, because that shows your client that you have the confidence in yourself and in the process to be able to fix the problem. So here are 4 examples of bad news that I have to give to clients all the time that I'm sure you do too. So I'm going to show you how I give that bad news in a good news sandwich. Example 1, the price. The price is too high. I have to deal with that all the time, either in person or on the phone, and I'm sure you do as well. And it's never a situation where I just call the client and say, "Hey, your price too high. We need to cut the price. We need to reduce the price." That sounds terrible, because what you're saying to the client is you have no faith in yourself or the process or the market. You're saying to the client that you did everything wrong because you priced it, and they're always going to blame you all the time. So the way you put that into a good news sandwich is you say, the house is great, everyone loves it, but unfortunately, the market isn't responding the best way we thought it was going to. I know we priced it where we did because I honestly thought it was worth it. And I want your home to sell for even more than where we priced it. But if we really want to sell it, we just need to adjust it. A slight adjustment, never a reduction, never a cut. It's a slight adjustment to get more traffic through, to get more interest through, to get this place sold. And I've already reached out to a lot of people, and they've told me, without me telling them that we are adjusting the price, that if the price were a little bit lower, they definitely would come through and either make offers or bring their buyers. That's the conversation. We started by saying how great the home is. We ended by talking about how great the traffic is going to be and the interest is going to be after our slight adjustment, just like you've gone to the chiropractor. Example number 2 is a little more personal. It's when you have to go to your seller and you have to tell them that no one likes their style. It's either they don't like any of their furnishings, they don't like the way they've decorated, they don't like the paint colors, and every client who hears that takes that really personally. I mean, imagine if you went up to someone on the street and you said, "Hey, you look nice, but the way you dress is terrible. I would never date you or marry you." It's going to make that person feel really self-conscious, right? It's the same way when you're delivering information and feedback about someone's home. So the good news sandwich to that is people love the price. They love the price. The market is good. We're getting good traffic. The one thing that's holding us back, though, from getting an offer or getting more traffic is people aren't responding well to the way you've decorated because it's too personal to you. So I'm not saying that the furnishings are bad. I'm not saying that the paint is ugly. I'm not saying that the 1,001 photos of grandma with their pet ferret isn't too distracting. I'm saying the way you've personally designed it, which is beautiful for you, it just isn't being received well by the general market. And I think we should make some changes. And I've already made a few calls to a few stagers or wherever you are, if there's people who can help with furniture and interior design. And I've got some good pricing to make some small adjustments so we can spruce up the space a little bit. And guess what? Once we do it, you're probably not even gonna wanna leave. So in my mind, I don't even know if I wanna do this because then you're probably not gonna wanna sell because you're gonna love the home even more. But this is something we need to do to make the home a little bit more marketable because everybody really does love it. They just have a hard time connecting to it. Example number 3 is the market just isn't there. And I know that doesn't sound like bad news, but honestly it is, because you're dealing with a client who, if they want to buy or they want to sell, they have a time frame in mind. People get excited about buying and selling, and they typically want to do it soon, especially with a seller who signed a listing agreement with you that has a certain amount of time attached to it. And what I always tell people is, listen, Our price is great. The presentation is great. It's beautiful. What we just need is a little more patience. It's the 3 Ps. Remember that. Price, presentation, and patience. And that way, it's not really about them. It's not about the home. It's about the general market, and all we need is just a little bit more time. But I've already accounted for it because I've reorganized my strategy. We're gonna do a whole new set of mailings. We're gonna do another broker tour, and I've got another open house that I wanna plan for this Sunday to hit a different type of target market to try to get a different buyer pool in, because our price is good, the house is beautiful, and it's not you, it's not me, it's just the market. And finally, example number 4 of really bad news to deliver to a really excited seller is the buyer who was going to sign a contract today just pulled out of the deal. That, for me, is a really tough phone call to make. I actually have to do that phone call in a little bit, and I'm really, 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 really dreading it. So the way you go into this conversation is a little bit different because you have a little work cut out for you before you ever even pick up the phone to deliver that good news sandwich. You now know that the home is going to be back on the market really soon. So you need to make a bunch of phone calls to everybody who saw the home, to other brokers who have clients for the home, and get people lined up already to come back and see it. Maybe you even had another offer before this contract that went out that has now died. Maybe they can come back to the table. Make those phone calls, line them up, get good feedback, then pick up the phone to deliver the good news sandwich. So the conversation happens something like this. Hi, seller, how's everything going? I actually have talked to a few people who are still interested in the house, which is actually a really good thing because it seems like our buyer that was supposed to sign today is no longer moving forward. And I'm really, really, really sorry about that. But the minute I got that call, I called everyone else who had already seen it, called every broker who already has buyers, and we're lining people up to come through right away. I honestly think we might be able to even get a better price than this person went to contract for. So don't worry. I'm still gonna get this sold. Everything is going to be okay. I am right there with you. I've got everything covered. That's a good way to deliver what would ordinarily be really bad news because it also shows that you're already on top of it. This is why they hired you. Because remember, real estate agents are just there to give information and to sometimes be therapists. The seller could have sold on their own. They don't need you, right? But they need you in these moments. In these moments, regular people don't know what to do when selling their home. But you, because you're trained, because you have me as your mentor, you know what to do because you're already on top of it. And that's why they have the confidence in you. That's why they're gonna pay you a commission, and that's why you are going to get it sold. And listen, there's obviously a lot of other bad news that you're gonna have to deliver to both buyers and sellers, even other agents in your office. And you're gonna have to use the good news sandwich to figure out how you're gonna deliver that information. But now you know how to do it. And now I wanna show you an actual phone call where I deliver bad news to a real seller using the good news sandwich.